Here are 5 strats you need to use in BTD6. Up first, we have the Psi Perma Charge combo. The boomer is amazing at breaking down blimp layers, and Psi takes care of the rest. We'll start the game with whatever monkeys we need to get past the first few rounds, but we'll quickly place down a boomerang monkey. This guy's great, as not only is he cheap and what we'll be upgrading later, he also provides some nice early game defense. We'll upgrade him to a 0-2-2 so that he attacks fast, deals 2 damage per shot, and can pop lead balloons, which will let us save up for Psi. Getting Psi down early and playing on advanced or expert maps is great, as they need the extra levels more than other heroes. Their levels 14 and 16 make them jump from popping ceramics to Moabs and BFBs, making the later rounds much easier for other monkeys to deal with. But after placing Psi, we'll upgrade the boomerang to a 0-3-2 bionic boomer. This will be a nice foundation to our mid game, but then we have some options. It's time to pick up any monkey that'll help with the Moab. You can get a Spectre like I did here, a Necromancer, Sniper, Destroyer, or you can upgrade your boomer to a Turbo Charge if you're willing to fight through the 30s. Really, you can get anything you want as long as it can break the outer layer of the Moab. Once that's cracked, Psi will pop 3 of the 4 ceramics inside, leaving you with very little to clean up. No matter what you chose, we have plenty of time to make it better. All we need to get is the permacharge up and running by round 80, meaning we can spend all of our money until round 63. This is nice because 63 and 64 are the classic rounds that end runs, so spend away to beat them. This can be on a big tower like a Prince of Darkness, or several smaller towers like a Spiked Mines or Aircraft Carrier, plus a Relentless Glue, Abyssal Warrior, and Primary Training Village. Really, we just need the Turbo Charge and a supporting cast to beat rounds 63 through 79, and with this, we'll get the permacharge just in time for the ZOMG. Make sure to use his ability for round 80 and watch the permacharge tear the blimps apart while Psi handles the ceramics underneath, and the rest of our money will be spent supporting our permacharge. Pick up some Moab presses to stall blimps and try to get this guy more pierce. Easy ways to do this are with top path villages and Mermonkies. While it is a solid choice to stop at a primary training and Abyssal Warrior as they're relatively cheap, you'll have plenty of money to upgrade them further. I personally like making the village a 5-2-0 primary expertise, as it gives him +3 pierce, makes his ability cooldown 20% faster, and its ballista attack helps out a ton with ceramics, which happens to be the permacharge's weakness. Now, you might be wondering about adding an alchemist to this guy, but you don't have to. He doesn't work the best with stronger stims because of how fast he blows through the buff. He already has a ton of damage and only shoots 1 projectile at a time, so if you're in a money crunch, you can skip the elk altogether. Funny enough, you can use this money saved to pick up an unstable concoction, something I rarely get these days, as it can turn round 98 into an unstoppable wall of super ceramics, but when paired with Psi and a Pex or Prince of Darkness, the ceramics are pretty easy to deal with, especially if you have Psi's level 10 ability ready. Psionic Scream knocks back or insta-kills BFBs and below, making it work great with monkeys that can take out the ZOMG layers fast like the Permacharge. But the last thing we'll need is something to help out with round 100. On several maps, the Permacharge won't have enough time to pop the bad layer and everything underneath, so pick up a Spike, Storm, or First Strike to help out, and that should easily get you the win. Next up, we have Striker Jones and the Blooncineration. Now, I'm not a big Mortar Monkey fan, but this is a fun one. Once again, the starting monkeys don't really matter, just try to get Striker Jones down early. The higher level he is, the easier time we'll have. From here, we have 2 goals. The first is to get our mid-game monkeys. They can be whatever you want, but some obvious choices are Moab Maulers, Recursive Clusters, an Artillery Battery, or an Aircraft Carrier, as these work very well with Striker and destroy the mid-game. And our second goal is to get a Signal Flare Mortar down for the 30s. This will interrupt building our other monkeys, but it's our main source of camo detection and will eventually become a Blooncineration. But because this guy reveals camos, we have some flexibility with our village. I normally pick this up right after the Signal Flare, and we can either leave it as a 2-0-0 to save money, or if we're going to place a bunch of monkeys like Maulers and Recursive Clusters, we can pick up Monkey Commerce as well, discounting future monkeys placed or upgraded in its radius. It's kind of exciting that we don't need the middle path village here, as the Signal Flare reveals camos, and Striker Jones makes Black Balloons weak to explosions, so we don't need a MIB. But once this village is down, we'll go back and finish whatever monkeys we were building before, and when we're done with that, it's time to save up for the Blooncineration. It shouldn't be too hard, because Striker Jones' Concussive Shell has such a short cooldown that it can counter just about every ceramic rush, and once you upgrade the Signal Flare to a Shattering Shells, it'll remove the fortified property off Moabs, making the 60s and 70s quite a bit easier. But in the mid to late 70s, we'll get this tier 5 upgrade. And now it's just time to support it. Buff it with a 4-2-0 Alchemist and get the classics like Moab Presses and a Relentless Glue. This will destroy the 90s, but we'll need help with round 100. So pick up any monkey that does a lot of single target damage, like a Moab Eliminator, First Strike, or Spike Storm, but that should easily get you the Chimp's win. Moving on, we have a 3-way combo in the Lord of the Abyss, Symphonic Resonance, and Brickell. In short, the Lord gives extra pierce to Brickell's Mine and the Symphonic Song. This song makes the Lord's tentacles deal tons of damage if you make the Bloons circle around him, and Brickell's Naval Tactics makes the Lord OP while it's active. So it's a triple threat. Anyway, this map will need a bit of water to make it work, so I like to start off with a sub and dart monkey or a buccaneer and dart. If you're on a harder track, you'll need a map specific start, but this strat is so cheap you should easily be able to transition over to it. Once we beat the first few rounds, we'll get down Brickell. I like to set her to strong, as her pistol does 3 damage at level 1, letting her bring pinks all the way down to blues, making the teens much easier. And from here, the plan is simple. Get or upgrade our buccaneer to a 2-2-0 for some solid damage and get ready for camos. You can either upgrade the sub to a submergence support now, or you can delay that by upgrading our dart monkey to an enhanced eyesight or placing a 001 mermonkey next to Brickell to pop the camo green on round 24. Delaying the sub upgrades can help you spend a little more on defenses in the 20s, but either way, we'll need a submergence support for rounds 33 and up. But from here, we'll upgrade the buccaneer to a tier 3 boat, either make him a cannon ship or a destroyer. Completely up to you, as both work just fine. These, combined with Brickell's naval tactics, will be enough to beat through round 40, and we can start working on our mermonkey. If you haven't placed him already, make sure to put him next to Brickell and the buccaneer and upgrade him to a 301. This gives him a solid tentacle attack while also giving nearby monkeys plus 10% pierce. But now you have a decision to make. We can either upgrade the Abyss Dweller straight to a Lord of the Abyss, or you can get a second mermonkey, making it a 203 alluring melody. While not necessary, I like to get this second mermonkey now, as it stalls make the save up to the Lord of the Abyss super easy. Either way, we'll get the tier 5 mermonkey in time for the 60s, so there's not much to worry about. But now we only have one more thing to make our combo complete. Make a Symphonic Resonance and place its shell right next to the Lord of the Abyss. This makes tons of Bloons come in his range, and because they revolve around him, all of his tentacles get involved, skyrocketing his DPS. But from here, you can get whatever you want. I normally go back to my buccaneer and make it a tier 5, so either a carrier flagship or pirate lord, and you'll still have over 50k to spend on support. Some useful monkeys to get are stalls to buy time for the symphonic song, so a snowstorm or presses work well here. As long as you're not on an expert map, you can really get anything and still win. I like to upgrade the sub to a Bloontonium reactor to shorten up Brickell's cooldown. Sometimes I pick up a perma brew just for fun, or I go back and upgrade the song to a final harmonic, as it makes Brickell's cooldowns even lower. Just know that the Lord of the Abyss isn't great at breaking down ZOMGs, so make sure to use Brickell's Megamind or the Pirate Lord's hooks on those. But that just leaves round 100, which is easily solved with all your leftover money. But once again, use Spike Storms or a First Strike to pop the bad. Shifting gears, we have the Gwen Savatar combo. While not a great strategy, it's one of the more fun runs I've had recently, and it's more than enough as long as you're playing on an easier map. The reason why is we'll be getting the most out of Gwen's Cocktail, and to do so, we need tons of Bloons in one spot. So if they're spread out across several lanes, like on harder maps, it gets much weaker. Anyway, we'll start off however necessary, but get Gwen down ASAP. She provides some solid defense, and her Cocktail can burn through just about every Bloon rush at this stage in the game. From here, we want to get a super monkey. If you're on an easy map, you can save straight up for it, but if you're on a harder one, you'll need some monkeys to help you get there. Maybe it's upgrading the sub or placing something like a Spactory or Buccaneer. It doesn't really matter what you get, as long as it helps you place the super monkey. Ideally, this can also pop all the camos in the 20s and 30s, but if it does need help, you can always use Gwen's Cocktail to pop them. After we get this super monkey down though, we'll upgrade it to a 002. This will give it knockback and camo detection, shoring up our weakness. And this is where the fun starts. We'll get 2 Berserker Brews, one right next to Gwen and the other touching the super monkey. This will give us tons of AMD buffs to go around, and neither of them need a stronger stim yet, so you can upgrade the Super Zelk to have perishing potions and leave Gwen's as a 300. This should bring you to the early 40s, and you can see the power of Gwen's Cocktail as we have a few things going for it. The first is the Super Monkey's knockback keeps the Bloons in her wall of fire longer, causing it to do more damage, and the other is we'll only use her ability when Gwen is affected by AMD and Berserker Brew, as these add damage and pierce to the flames, making it do way more damage. So just highlight over Gwen and use her ability whenever both of these buffs are on her. This is when we start making tons of money, so buff your monkeys with a 220 village to give them extra attack speed and camo detection. And from here, we'll upgrade the super to a 302 sun avatar. Savatar. This already destroys the mid game, but Gwen gives it +1 damage and pierce, making it even better. But these two are weak to purples. Luckily, this can be easily solved with another monkey or upgrading the village to a 2-3-0. Though, building a MIB is incredibly overkill at this stage in the game. My personal favorite way to deal with purples is to have a reactor up front, as there's no way a purple gets through. Plus, it means you can make your village a 2-0-2 instead, since the sub can decamo everything. But Gwen and the Sun Avatar will destroy the rounds, especially if you upgrade this Savatar's Elk to a stronger stim like I did. But in the late 80s, they fall off hard. Even if you add the standard support, you'll need more damage. Luckily for us, we'll have tons of money by this time, so you can pick up just about anything. My two favorites are the Wizard Lord Phoenix or Infernal Ring, as they both can carry the late game and get buffed by Gwen's passive attack speed increase to Fire Monkeys, and you'll still have plenty of money left over. I got a Wizard Lord Phoenix and First Strike and still ended the run with over $30,000 in the bank. And our final strategy is a classic, but it recently got buffed, so I had to include it. The Master Bomber. Since the last time I've covered him, he got tons of extra damage to stun Bloons and now throws his sticky bombs twice as fast as he used to, so I had to try him out. Like the other strats, the start doesn't matter, but here I like to work a ninja into my early game defense. Normally, I make him a 2-0-1 with plans of upgrading him to a Blooncin later on, and once we can afford it, we'll put Hbomb down next to him. What hero we pick doesn't really matter, but I like Hbomb's strong early game and ability to pop leads. Then we go back to the ninja and make him a 3-0-2 double shot. This, combined with Hbomb, will crush the early game. Next, we want to get ready for the 40s, so pick up a Berserker Brew and upgrade the ninja to a Blooncin. The order doesn't really matter, but I prefer to get the Alchemist first. Either way, we'll leave the Elk as a 3-0-0 and start the next stage. We'll place down 2 discount villages and a ninja that you plan on making the Master Bomber later on. You want this ninja to be near the villages and in a big opening so that you can buff him with a ton of shinobis. Make one of the villages a 1-0-2 and the other a 2-0-2, so both have larger radius but only one has jungle drums. Then we'll make this ninja a 2-0-3 flash bomb. This will be pretty cheap with the double discount, and we'll go back to the Alchemist and make him a 3-0-1. It's kind of unnecessary, but we might as well pick it up if he's in range of both discounts. But this should bring us to the mid 40s, where we'll start placing 0-3-1 ninjas all around the flash bomb and Blooncin. Do this until we have about 10 shinobi buffs on both ninjas and watch them tear apart the rounds. Having 10 of these guys gives our ninjas plus 130% attack speed and plus 80% pierce, so nothing should really be a problem, making our next goal pretty easy. It's time to save up for the Master Bomber. While it's a pretty hefty upgrade, we should be able to afford it around round 80, just in time for the ZOMGs and Super Ceramics, and he'll make them a thing of the past. But we're not done yet. We'll fill out the map with more shinobis until our Master Bomber has 20 shinobi buffs on him, giving him a whopping plus 430% attack speed and plus 160% pierce, letting him easily keep up with the blimp heavy rounds of the 90s. And honestly, you don't need anything else. I went on Tinkerton with over 60k as is, but if you want to spend more, my favorite thing to buy here is caltrops on every single ninja. They benefit from the attack speed and pierce buffs of the shinobis too, letting this army of ninjas place a massive wall of spikes down every round, and nothing will get through this. On Cornfield I had this, and the bad didn't even get to the thick part of the caltrops, but those were 5 strats you need to try out in BTD6. And we actually brainstormed these in my Discord linked in the description, so if you want to help out with future videos or just join the community, you should check it out.